Hello everybody. This is Anuja here, holistic nutritionist and well-being breakthrough coach, and I'm very excited to be talking all about essential oils today. And I have a very special guest with me, Pam. She is my go-to girl for any essential oil questions. She has such a big knowledge base right all in here. Like I ask her a question and she's out quick with an answer. Use this, do that, and she has like a gazillion ways to use essential oils. And I'm just getting introduced to essential oils myself. And I was fortunate to meet Pam and, get some insight into them. I use lavender pretty regularly at home, just to de-stress myself, and I got a starter kit recently, so I'm using a lot of oils from there, lemon, and then there is a breathing blend called RC, and I'm sure Pam is going to talk all about those. So let's dive in straight away. We are going to talk about essential oils. We'll cover what essential oils are, and of course also specific oils for digestion, because my work with my clients is a lot about digestion, stress, craving. So we'll be talking about those. And if you have any questions, feel free to type them in here, and hopefully we can answer them for you. And if you're catching this on a replay, then feel free to still leave your comments on the stream, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. So let's dive right in, Pam. Would like you to introduce yourself and go from there.
Sure. My name is Pam Lazan, and I am a mom of two, and I live in North Delta, British Columbia. And I've been with Young Living Canada for just over 3 years. I've traveled around with them a little bit, worked on a few of their farms, and I do essential oil education in the Lower Mainland and online. So I do in-person classes and online classes just to give people the best education, because there's so much misinformation out there and people really don't know where to start when it comes to essential oils.
I know, and that's a great point you bring up, because, like when I started initially, all I was thinking is essential oils is something that you can breathe and, only when you put it into a diffuser. But there are a lot more uses, obviously, as I've learned from you and from reading from other resources as well. So let's start by going over what essential oils really are, how are they extracted, and what does it mean when you say essential oil?
So essential oils are the lifeblood of a plant. So they're the part of the plant that you're smelling when you smell a flower, when you zest a lemon, when you crush an herb in your hand. That's the essential oil escaping the plant. And what they do in the plant is they carry oxygen and nutrients into the cells of the plant, and they carry waste out of the cells. They also protect the plants from disease, and they repel negative insects and attract the right insects to that plant. And so the kinds of things they do in the plant is what they also do in animals and humans. And how we get essential oils, there's a few different ways, but most of them come through steam distillation. They have to be distilled properly to be therapeutic. So it needs to be low pressure, low temperature, and it's a very scientific process to get them. And then they need to be tested to make sure that the quality and the purity is there so that they are actually therapeutic. There's only about 2% of the oils in the world are considered therapeutic grade essential oils. The other 98% would be your fragrance oils. And these ones were not distilled to produce therapeutic properties. They were distilled for pretty smells. And so this is why people get confused, because you might have a bottle that says lots of good things on the label, but if it was made to be a fragrance, it's probably not going to give you therapeutic benefits. And in fact, it could actually be toxic for your health. And so this is why it's important to know how your oil was made, what's actually in your bottle, so that you have safe oils that you're using on yourself and your family. And what essential oils do in your body is they work on a cellular level. And so whereas an herb, you have to ingest it and then digest it and absorb all the nutrients, you might have some disrepair in your body and maybe you don't have good absorption. But with an oil, you can apply it on your skin or you can inhale it and it goes into your bloodstream. 1 drop of essential oil can reach every cell in your body in 20 minutes. So they work very, very fast, and they can help you even when you're very, very sick and don't have a lot of good stuff going on in your gut. You can still get a lot of benefits from them just by simply applying them on your skin and inhaling them. And I'm just reading my notes to make sure I say everything here. The difference between essential oils and cooking oils. So this is where people get confused. What do we mean when we say essential oil? Where an essential oil has to be aromatic, it has to be what we call volatile, which means it evaporates very, very quickly. And essential oils have very, very small molecules, so they absorb into your skin fast and they don't feel greasy on your skin. So when you feel something like coconut oil, it doesn't have much of a fragrance. It's very, very greasy, and it's beneficial for your skin and for your health, but it's not going to have the same kind of benefits as an essential oil. Fatty oils come from the seed of the plant, and essential oils are found basically in all the rest of the plant. So that's different. We use the fatty oils to dilute the essential oils, but they don't have the same kinds of properties.
Very interesting. So how do people understand whether what they are buying or what they are seeing out there is a therapeutic grade or whether it's just a fragrance?
Okay, so what you need to know is really the essential oil industry. Basically, they're all grouped together. So they're all considered cosmetics, they're all considered fragrance, even if they're therapeutic quality or if they're very low quality. And so that's why the price range is very, very broad. When you go brand to brand, some people say, why is this frankincense $10 and this frankincense is $90? It can say pure on the label and only be 5 to 35% pure. It could be pure oil, but they could still have tampered with it. So what they will do is they'll actually remove some of the chemical constituents to make it a sweeter smell, because people will want to buy it then, but it won't have the depth of therapeutic benefits that you're looking for. So you'll need more oil to get the same benefit that you would with a more potent oil. So you want to really make sure that you know how your oil was made and know the company that it came from and the reputation. So I know a lot of people like to make their own oils at home, but this is why I can't vouch for that practice, because although it might be fun for making a fragrance, say if you're making your own soap, when it comes to therapeutic quality oils, you really want a company that knows how to distill it properly and then how to test it in a lab to make sure it's safe.
Right.
So Young Living, what sets them apart is that they're the largest and oldest essential oil company, and we're the only ones with our own farms. So we do all the farming and distilling ourselves. Our farms are on every continent, so the plants are grown where they're meant to grow. The farms are organic and sustainable. They're extremely responsible, ethical farming. And the standards are so high that they're well beyond what the FDA and Health Canada actually require of us, because we're not cosmetics. Even though they consider us cosmetics, we know we're much, much more than that. So our standards are very, very high. We call it our seed to seal guarantee, which means we oversee every step of the process. The oils are tested in-house and by third parties. And we're really unparalleled when it comes to our potency. So you don't need as much oil when you're using Young Living oils. Another thing when it comes to safety is looking at if Health Canada has approved that brand of oil. So Young Living is approved with Health Canada as a safe, natural remedy for your home. And so that's really significant too, because we're being recognized now for having a higher standard.
Very cool. And so what would really define therapeutic?
Therapeutic grade is a term that was coined by Gary Young, who's the founder of our company, and lots of companies will actually adopt that term now. There is no certification that allows us to be therapeutic grade. What it means basically is that we are keeping the oils to the highest standard. So every oil, say for example lavender. For lavender to be safe, it needs to be balanced as it was in nature. So you don't want the oil to be different than how it was in the plant. So you want the soil to have been properly tested soil. You want the farming practices to be proper. What happened to the plants during that season? And then when they harvested it, what happened? Did they use herbicides and pesticides on it? The distillery equipment needs to be clean. The water and the distillation process needs to be clean. It's all these details that come into play that change the outcome of the oil. And then the testing to make sure that all the chemical constituents that are in that, say, lavender, need to be within a safe range. Oils are highly complex. They're so complex that we can't actually synthesize them in a lab. You can synthesize a lavender fragrance, but you can't synthesize the complexity of lavender that's made in nature. They each have hundreds and hundreds of chemical compounds in the oils. And so lavender needs to have each chemical compound tested to make sure it's within the safe range. So
Right.
that's where these labs come in and all these scientists. I've been in the labs and seen the chemists myself. It's really impressive. They're very, very smart. But they make sure that that lavender is within the safe range and that it hasn't been changed from how it was in nature. And so it's very, very safe on our bodies. And I find that people who have fragrance allergies, and they'll say, I can't go near that because I have a fragrance allergy.
Right.
What they're experiencing is an allergy to something that was made in a lab, something that's been tampered with, something that was not made by nature. They're not experiencing their allergy when they walk out in a field, most likely.
Right.
So it's usually from something synthetic. And so in my experience, when people have a fragrance allergy and they're brave enough to try our essential oils, they don't react. And it's because it's not the same thing. We're not talking about fragrance.
Right. And that makes a lot of sense because, in terms of allergies or sensitivities, as we say, especially because I deal with a lot with gut, there is absorption issues, and there is just that the way the immune system is reacting to that a particular thing, whether it's food or a scent. And the more synthetic, or even with foods, like, when we talk about a lot of processed and packaged foods, then there comes those allergies or sensitivities. And I guess it would be the same for perfumes as well. Because, I have rarely heard of anybody going out and smelling a rose and saying, I can't take the smell, or I'm sensitive to the smell of a real rose, right? So that makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Awesome. So how does one, like how many types of oils are there, and what are the different kinds of uses that we can, put them to?
The number of oils out there is really, really vast. They're still discovering new ones every year, which is why I like to go to the Young Living Convention, because they might announce a new oil that they've discovered, which is always fun. So our selection is the largest in the world with Young Living. So we have, I think, a few hundred.
Wow. Really? 100? Okay.
You have all the singles and then all the blends. And so Young Living will blend the singles together and make their own kind of concoctions for different uses. And so they're always coming out with new ones, and they're always opening new farms in new parts of the world. So it's exciting to see the research that they're doing. We're really at the forefront of essential oil research in the world. And so it's really exciting to see that. And that's why I like that we have the farms, because we get to explore and discover new things. But the ways that we can use essential oils is amazing. Each oil has so many different uses. It's not like you have one oil for a headache and one oil for digestive discomfort. There are so many oils that cover each of those issues, that we always tell people to try the one you have first. You don't need to go buying all of them. If you only have a few, chances are you have one that will touch the issue you're dealing with, and they all have overlapping issues. And so they're so versatile, and there's so many ways you can use them. So you can diffuse in your house to remove odor, but you can also diffuse in your house to remove harmful bacteria in the air, and to remove pet odor, and to help with congestion, and to improve sleep, and to improve mental health. And there's so many other ways that it benefits you all at the same time, and the whole family can benefit together.
Cool. So is it okay if there are babies in the house or pets? Is it safe to use with either of them?
There's a little bit more education required when you're using oils with animals and with babies, but yes, it is possible to use on both. We have a lot of doulas on our team that use essential oils during pregnancy and during the birth process. So there's just a little bit of knowledge you need to know, a few cautions, and same with pets. Pets are a little bit different, but we have an animal line with Young Living, and some of our farms are even animal rescues. And so they are using the oils for veterinary care. So it's really cool to see what they're doing with the animals. And again, it's just certain animals don't prefer certain smells, and their bodies might be really small. So if you were using oils on a cat, you certainly wouldn't use the same amount you would use on a human. So there are a few things you need to know about how to use them safely on your pets. But yes, it's a wonderful thing to do for your pets.
Right. So you talked about using them on the pets, but what about if it's in a diffuser, so everybody's breathing the air? Is that safe, or even there might be oils that you have to be careful about?
There are some oils that pets might want to avoid, and you'll look up, there's some that dogs don't prefer and some that cats don't prefer, might not be safe for your cat. So generally what is recommended is that you just look that up first, get that information. I have that available for people. And then, so avoid those oils around your animal, and let your animal adjust too. So when you bring in the diffuser, you might only use a small amount at first and kind of let them acclimate to it. Generally Lots of people that I know that use them around their pets find that their pets really gravitate towards the diffuser, especially the cats will lie down right next to it and snuggle up with it. So it's very safe. And I know my children are 5 and 7, and I've been using the oils for just over 3 years, and they each have a diffuser in their room. So it certainly hasn't been detrimental to their health. I've seen a huge benefit, especially with my son who has respiratory problems.
Oh, okay. Cool. So I wanted to get into a little more detail with some specific oils for specific conditions. I was thinking we'll do a couple of those, and then we can maybe just to give people a general idea of what might be a good way to start off with essential oils. Like these might be a few that, you might recommend starting off with. We'll do the specifics first, though, because I deal a lot with the gut issues, IBS, indigestion, and heartburn, sometimes gas and flatulence. Are there any particular oils that you would suggest are great for digestion? I know peppermint is. What else would you suggest?
Yeah, peppermint's the number one for all digestive problems. One thing to note with essential oils is that they all bring balance to your body. And so you can use peppermint for both constipation and diarrhea.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they just bring an equilibrium to your body. So they help it get to where it needs to be. And it doesn't matter what end of the spectrum it was on, if that makes sense. And so, yeah, you don't need to have a different one for each. Peppermint is just digestive overall, but other digestive ones that are approved with Health Canada right now would be fennel, ginger, I'm trying to think, cardamom, I think patchouli is one that we use. And we have a blend called Digest with Young Living that contains peppermint, ginger, fennel, and all of our top digestive ones, which I really prefer that because they're all blended together and then you can apply it topically. And I love that you can do a topical application with digestive issues because if you're nauseous, the last thing you want to do is have to ingest something.
Yes.
So if you can apply that right, even on your solar plexus, if you had heartburn, or you could apply it wherever it hurts on your stomach, and it's amazing how fast it works. I really hand that stuff out if I'm out at a market or doing any kind of class and someone has any kind of stomach problems, which it happens a lot. I'll hand them some Digest or some peppermint and they just rub it on their stomach and they're always amazed at how fast it's helped them.
Pretty cool. So does Digest have peppermint in it as one of the ingredients?
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Okay. And that's another
ginger. You won't smell the peppermint. When you smell it, it smells like ginger and fennel, which some people don't prefer. But I just tell people it's for medicinal purposes. It doesn't matter about the smell right now. You're sick. So,
right. Yeah. Makes sense. Because that's another question that I often get, peppermint being so good for digestion. And that's something I'll ask people to have, like a peppermint tea. And they say, well, it gives me a heartburn. So an essential oil in that case would be awesome because then that way, like you said, they don't have to ingest it and it's still doing its trick.
1 drop of peppermint essential oil is equivalent to 24 cups of herbal tea.
Whoa. All right. I didn't know that. Okay. And so how would you apply it? Just like a couple drops directly on your skin or the area like the solar plexus area or the tummy?
Yeah, usually for me, what I do is just take a few drops and just put it wherever it's hurting or wherever I'm feeling sick. And you can use it as often as every 20 minutes if you're still feeling symptoms. But you want to start, if you're brand new to oils, I would suggest that you patch test on your skin first. Because some people, if you have a lot going on in your body, you might have what we call a detox reaction, where your body might develop a little bit of a rash as it's adjusting to the oils. This is not a sign of an allergy, so just stay calm. But you might want to start on the bottoms of your feet or let your body get used to the oils being part of your life now. And then you'll find that later, you can apply it on your stomach again and it'll be okay. But anytime any kind of rash or discomfort occurs, that's when you really want to be using dilution. So if you're concerned, just dilute right off the bat. Get some coconut oil and I would do like a little blob in the palm of my hand and then do like 2 or 3 drops of peppermint and make like a massage oil and then rub it on. It doesn't lessen the effects of the oil. It just is gentler for your skin. It slows the absorption rate.
So do you recommend that we even prepare a little, a carrier oil with a few drops of peppermint in a bottle and store it, or would the essential oil basically evaporate if we did that?
You can store them. I've made creams like that for my daughter for different uses. I do that for like lip balm too. I'll do coconut oil and whatever essential oils I like, and I'll keep it in a little glass container. Just make sure you use glass if you can, because essential oils, especially really high quality ones, will eat plastic.
Right.
So you can combine it. Just know that once you've added a carrier oil, its shelf life is lessened at that point. Essential oils don't really have an expiry date if they're properly stored and they're pure, but when they're diluted, then they will eventually expire. It's going to be a long time before they expire if they're still stored and sealed. So I'm sure you'll use it up before it gets to that point, but you should just be aware of that.
Right. Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so that was for digestion. That's awesome. How would you go about using essential oils if you have breathing issues or allergies, especially at this time of the year with spring coming up? A lot of people are sensitive to pollen or just the changes happening in the weather. Are there any particular oils that might be helpful for this time of the year? I know my nose is starting to get itchy now, and it's funny, I never had sensitivity to springtime, but now I have apparently for the last couple of years. So any tips for that?
Yeah, I have seasonal allergies also. And I personally have found in the past, I don't respond at all to antihistamines. So I've been looking for natural alternatives for a long time. And so the essential oils have brought a lot of relief. For respiratory issues in general, one of the first ones we would recommend is eucalyptus. Young Living has 3 different species of eucalyptus available, and they are also in blends. So you mentioned RC already, which stands for respiratory and congestion, and that's 3 different species of eucalyptus combined with cypress and pine. And that's a very popular blend with a lot of parents, especially if they have any kind of congestion in their household. I've done Epsom salts and RC in the bath for my kids if they're stuffed up. You can diffuse it at night. You can put a drop in the palm of your hand and cup it over your nose and breathe deeply, and it'll really clear out your sinuses, and it feels really nice. It's very gentle. But then on top of that, peppermint also is really good for opening up your airways. And anything with wintergreen is really good as well for your airways. Frankincense can be really soothing for your breathing. And if you're experiencing seasonal allergies, I would recommend first our Thieves blend. Thieves, which I have right here. Thieves is one of our most famous blends, and it has cinnamon, clove, eucalyptus, rosemary, and lemon. And it is approved with Health Canada for coughs and colds. So it's really good for respiratory, but it boosts your immune system. So when you're dealing with allergies, it's a really great one to use on a regular basis. I mean, I use it year round on a regular basis because I never want to get sick. So a good rule of thumb with Thieves is to put it on the bottoms of your feet every day before you go out, and even at bedtime, and then you can put your socks on after if you wanted. Thieves is considered a hot oil, so you want to use it with caution, dilute it if you're using it on sensitive skin, but the bottoms of your feet, you probably wouldn't even feel it. So I just put it on straight on the bottoms of my feet, and that's a good practice for children as well. I do that with my kids before they go out, and then they won't touch it and get it in their eye or anything like that. But yeah, Thieves is our number one for boosting your immune system. And then when it comes to seasonal allergies too, if you're really feeling that itchy, clogged up, gross feeling in the summer and the spring, lavender is your best friend. And lavender. Okay. Lavender, lemon, and peppermint together, especially those 3, are very, very soothing. And you can put them in the diffuser, and I'll take the lavender and just kind of go outside my orbital sockets if my eyes are itchy, and then inhale it, and I'll just keep going until I feel better, basically. But it feels really nice.
Cool. And I also work with a lot of people who have cravings, right? Now, whether it is sugar cravings or it's craving for carbs overall, so that might show up as cravings for chips or something salty like pretzels. I know cinnamon is one of the things as a herb, and a spice I recommend people to use in their coffee or in their cooking, also overall smoothies, because cinnamon helps to balance the blood sugar level and therefore get rid of the cravings. Are there any oils that you would recommend for cravings?
Grapefruit essential oil is very popular for people who are trying to curb their appetite, as trying to control, because it just kills your appetite. And citrus oils in general are really good for helping with weight loss or for doing any kind of cleanse or detox, and they really help with cravings. And Cinnamon, as you mentioned, balances blood sugar. So we use cinnamon, and it's in our Thieves blend also, which is really commonly used for those kinds of things. And a lot of people swear by dill essential oil for sugar cravings.
Really? There is essential oil for dill?
And
I
it
didn't even
smells
know
like
that.
pickles. It smells exactly like pickles. Yeah.
I'm not sure I want to do that one. No. Thieves is good. I love Thieves, by the way. You told me last time that when I was having my cold to try that, and it really helped me out. So I love that. Very cool. Oh, okay. So citrus one, grapefruit. Okay. And again, would we inhale them, or would we actually um, kind of apply them to, I don't know, for cravings? Where would you apply them?
You could inhale them. You put them in the diffuser. You could apply them onto your stomach even.
Huh.
There are people that use them in other ways, but I'm just not authorized at the moment to talk about it on social media.
Right.
But I'm sure you can look it up. That's changing soon, and I will be allowed to say more about how people are using citrus oils
Right.
when I'm on Facebook. But this is why I encourage people to get to one of my in-person classes so that I can speak a bit more freely.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. And then I also wanted to talk about some oils for either generic aches and pains, like, a lot of muscle tension, with the stress, people get migraines, or they have neck and shoulder problems, or sometimes lower back problems, or just cramping of muscles, say, because I have a son who is quite into soccer and sports, and he'll come home sometimes and say, I'm cramping. So obviously there are two different kinds of aches and pains, I guess. One is like a chronic pain, which might be stress related or work related. And then there are these acute spasmodic pains. So is there one oil or a few that we can talk about?
Yeah, so the oil that we refer to as the Tylenol of oils is peppermint again.
Yeah.
Peppermint's really good for muscle aches and pains, and you can dilute it to make massage oil and rub it in wherever it hurts. And we also have a blend that's very popular that Health Canada actually removed from Canada for 2 years, and it just came back, and everyone's very excited. It's called Deep Relief.
Okay.
And this is for people that need deep relief.
Mhm.
This is your chronic pain. And so a lot of people who are dealing with arthritis and those kinds of issues, like on a daily basis, they really find that they need deep relief all the time. And it has peppermint in it, and as well as a bunch of others. And we have another blend called Panaway that's very similar. And you'll find it smells a little bit like gum. It was in your kit too when you got
Yes.
your. Yeah, and it has wintergreen, it has helichrysum, it has clove. Cloves are very powerful anti-inflammatory, and so it's often in these pain relieving blends. And so you can do things like do Panaway first, and then chase it with peppermint, and the peppermint will intensify the effect of the Panaway. And so that's another way you can deal with stronger pain.
Okay. So how far apart would you use one oil or two oils? Like you said, I think at one time that 20 minutes apart also. Is that like a standard of for different oils, or are there certain oils which are way stronger, and so you should not be, almost like Tylenol, right? Like don't take anything for another 6 hours at least if you've taken one tablet, something like that.
You can have a negative reaction by using certain oils together with other oils. They can enhance each other and help another oil maybe go faster, things like that. But they don't work negatively together. So, I mean, I've mentioned our blends before. Some of our blends have 10, 11, 12 different essential oils in the bottle, and they're all blended together, and you can apply those without any concern. And so if you wanted to use, say, peppermint and then another one on top of it right away, that's totally fine. And a lot of people will make their own blends at home. So you find a few that work for you, and you can
Right.
get even an empty oil bottle that you have, or you can buy empties, and you can put a little roller ball top on it. You can dilute it, add the ones that you like, and then you can carry it with you and apply it really whenever you need it, as often as you need it. And that's a really practical way to use them on a daily basis.
Cool. Awesome. And I know I don't think we discussed this in the past, but it was recently spring break here, and I know spring break in certain other parts of Canada is a little bit different. So are there any essential oils that you would recommend to take while traveling? Um,
Traveling, I would say if I was going to go, like I go on a trip a few times a year with Young Living, and so we all have our travel favorites. I never go anywhere without my peppermint because if I say I was not feeling well, got travel sick or had a headache or any kind of pain, back pain from sitting in the car or on the airplane, peppermint is your best friend. Peppermint
Yes.
also wakes you up. It increases oxygen to your brain. So if you need to wake up and you've been traveling a lot and you're feeling tired, it's a really great one. You can just put it on the back of your neck and inhale it. It's cold. It feels really cold on your
Right.
skin, so it wakes you up. Thieves, another one I would keep with me because if you're traveling, you don't want to get sick. Your immune system might be compromised if you're feeling tired from your travels. So keeping your thieves with you and using it preventatively to avoid sickness is a
Okay.
really, really good one. And then I would probably, if I traveled, I usually carry my diffuser with me if I can, because certainly if you're in a hotel room, you want to diffuse because you don't know who was in there before you. So
Yes.
we have a blend called Purification that's amazing for removing odors and cleaning the air. And so I tend to take that one with me too because it's just handy to have. You never know.
Right. That's very cool. Yeah, and I was just recently on a trip, but I didn't take any of these oils. I was planning on taking peppermint, but then I was just not sure whether, because my bottle is open, if it'll leak while traveling. So most likely not, I guess. I should have
Just
asked you.
tighten it. Just give it a really good tighten, and then
Uh-huh.
I'll put them in some kind of like baggie or container. I have some
Right.
carry for them too, just in case, because yeah, every now and then that does happen, and then you open your
Yeah.
bag and everything smells like peppermint or whatever. So,
Right. Fair enough. So let's talk about what would be a great starting point for people who are, either interested in essential oils and want to use them more and more, like I was a few months ago. What would be a good starting point for them? Because it can be very confusing. And I know from personal experience, like, the more I was reading, it's like, oh, this one is good and that one is good too. And, what should I do for this one? So what's a good starting point?
yeah, it can be very easy to be overwhelmed with all the information that's out there. And there are so many oils. I think people start to feel discouraged that it's too much for them to get into. But really, simple is best. And you don't need to know it all ever. I'm still learning all the time. So the best thing to do is to start with the basics. I mean, it really depends what health issues you're dealing with that you want to go after. But the most common oils that people go after or they're asking about would be peppermint, lavender, lemon. Those ones, Thieves is a really, really popular one people start with. We do have a value pack that we've grouped them all together. You've mentioned your starter kit, and we grouped them together for that reason. They're the most common oils that people want to start with. They used to be called the Everyday Oils Kit because they were oils that you could use every day. They just
Right.
cover the widest array of issues. And so our value pack has 11 of our most popular oils and includes lemon, lavender, peppermint, frankincense, panaway, RC, as we mentioned, Thieves, Purification, Northern Lights Black Spruce, which is farmed in British Columbia. Just some really cool ones like that. So you get 11 oils plus the diffuser, because I find people always want that diffuser, but then you need a few oils to put in it. And by the time you're at the diffuser plus a few bottles of oil, you're already at the cost of the starter kit because it really is a better deal. And
True.
so for people who want that value pack, that's a good bet. But you can get them individually too. So if you just wanted peppermint, and say lavender and Thieves to start, well, that covers your pain, your digestive issues, your immune system, coughs and colds, and your sleep and relaxation, all in one thing, just 3 bottles of oil. So, there's lots of
True.
ways to do it. So.
Yeah, that makes total sense. And I know the starter kit pack, it helped me a lot because now there's just this basic bunch of oils that I knew I could use anytime. It
Mhm.
was just a matter of reaching out into the box and just pulling out, especially, when I started, I was asking you questions a lot of times. I'm like, this is happening. Which one should I use? And then I would just go to my starter kit and pull it out. So that was really awesome to have them in one place rather than really figure out which one I want to buy now. And it can be expensive to buy individual bottles. So absolutely. And we loved the fact that there was a diffuser. The starter kit also came with those little travel bottles, and there's a roll-on with that. So it's a really neat, handy pack. And I had done a separate live stream on it. Where the packaging is so neat that it all just comes in a very neat little package, and if you can really carry it around, and
Yeah.
it's very convenient to use. So how can one get started if they wanted to, say, buy the starter pack?
So Young Living is a unique company. We're still newer in Canada and we're growing really fast. And so they've made it so that anyone in Canada can have a free wholesale account. And people always think that there's a catch with that, but it's really free to set up an account. You don't have to buy a certain amount. You don't have to buy every month. And then you can order at wholesale prices and have it shipped to your door. And so that's really the best place to start with your account. You can also have access to our American catalog and what we call the Young Living University, which gives you more education. And then for people who think they want to buy on a regular basis or they want a better deal, we also have a monthly points program that you can opt into. And that requires a monthly order, but you get points back on your purchases, which you can use for free stuff. Every 3 months that you're on the program, you get more free bottles of oil. Plus, you can qualify for free diffusers. And it just goes on and on and on. It's a lot of free stuff if you choose to go that road. But for anyone who just wants to start really gently, you can just create an account and order whatever you'd like. You can order your starter kit or you can order a few bottles and go that way. And at least then, it's there for you whenever you need your oils. You can log in and order them and they come right to your door.
Absolutely. And I can vouch for the simplicity of ordering it and, just having that access even to the university once you create your free account. So I know when I created my account, I didn't even make a purchase. I was just going through the different, the videos in there and just getting to understand it a little more. And then once I decided that essential oils were for me, the starter kit just made so much sense. So if you guys have any questions about that, feel free to reach out to me and we can get you started up with the starter kit as well. And have it shipped to you. So are there any other things you think, Pam, that we should cover and let people know about essential oils that will really help them decide whether this is the thing for them or not? And I know sometimes cost can be a factor where people say, oh, a little bottle of oil costs $20, so is it expensive?
It's not when you consider how much you spend on your healthcare products and all of the drugs and the prescriptions and things like that that are coming into your home, and the amount of things that you can do with the oils is amazing. So I would say it's been the best value for me, and your health is worth the investment.
Absolutely.
So rather than be on prescriptions your whole life, to find an alternative that works, that enables you to find another way without side effects, it's safe. I think that it's invaluable to do it that way.
Right. It certainly is. And I can vouch for that, especially because I've been on medications with my health concerns for so many years. And, that is a whole different story as to how I got into nutrition. But the whole point is so that you can be on more natural resources and ways to kind of feel better. That, why depend on, say, Tums? The other day I posted also, I was having horrible cramps. I don't know. I didn't even eat out, but I was just having horrible cramps. And earlier I wouldn't have known what to do, maybe taken a painkiller or had Tums and just, wondered about if it was indigestion. But a little bit of peppermint oil on my stomach, I just rubbed it. And a few minutes later, I was feeling so much better. Then I followed it up with peppermint tea. So, you're always wanting to let your body do its stuff naturally and support it with other natural products as well. So I definitely agree with that. The benefits long-term just outweigh anything else. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. So any last thoughts, Pam?
I would suggest that for anyone wanting to learn more, you can host or attend an in-person or online class anytime with me for free. And these are not sales parties. I really just educate people and let them ask questions. So if you live in the Lower Mainland of British Columbia, I can come to you for free anytime, and you can get your friends together and we can learn and try them, because some people really want to try them first. And if you live outside of that area, if you're in another province, then set up an online class. I do classes on Facebook all the time, and it's a great way to get information and just ask questions. And then from there, you can make the best decision for you and your family.
Absolutely. And guys, if you did not want to open an account and you still wanted access to these oils, then you can reach out to me. We can arrange for it to be drop shipped to your place, but you don't have to have the account either. So, we're very flexible that way, whether you want to open the account, which will obviously give you the wholesale pricing, but if not, then you can always get in touch with me and we can get you the oils still. If you just wanted to start with 1 or 2 oils, that's fine too. So all in all, awesome information. I know I again learned a a lot. And I always do whenever I'm talking to Pam. So if you guys like this, please post your likes and comments in here, and then we can have Pam back again if you have other questions some other day. So thank you so much, Pam. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk about oils, and I'm very excited for the possibilities that brings to all the viewers here. So really, thank you for that.
Well, thanks for having me, Tanuja. It was really nice.
Same here. Talk to you soon.
Yeah, you too. See ya.
Bye, guys. Yeah.
Bye.